Red Dead Redemption 2 might be all about outlaws and long horse rides across the plains, but every time I go back to it, I remember how unnerving the world can get when you're wandering off the beaten path. There's this weird strangeness buried in the map, like Rockstar hit a whole other genre under the cowboy hats and campfires.
And you know what? They got caught in bad weather in the mountains and died. Every single one. Even started eating each other.
What makes it so interesting is how naturally those moments show up. There's no giant marker or scripted warning. The world just suddenly feels completely different than it did a minute ago. Even when you don't see anything strange happening, you can feel how the atmosphere changes and at times gives the game a horror-inspired feeling. Some places just feel wrong in a way you can't explain, but you know damn well that some unholy business is going on here. You know that these damn woods shouldn't be whispering and remembering dark and tragic things, but they do. They are cursed, and all that's left is for you to find a shack in the woods with a book made out of human skin.
The book is bound in human flesh and inked in human blood.
You ride through these places in broad daylight and there's something off about the shadows or the way the wildlife avoids the area. At night, those spots get even stranger. The fog gets too thick and the silence starts creeping you out. You can tell something happened there, and the game never explains it, but the land never forgets all the blood that was spilled.
They got up on the wrong side of the grave.
You're out there in the dark, maybe after a long hunt or a slow ride back to camp, and you hear something carried in the wind. Then you see her, pale and heartbreaking, forever trapped in a loop of agony and pain.
Come home. He will do. I just know he will, Mother. I just know he will.
Moments like that feel like you stumbled across a rumor whispered in some saloon, except now you're seeing it with your own eyes. And then there's all the UFO stuff, which is a whole different flavor of creepy. You walk into some old shack expecting another random encounter, and suddenly the entire place lights up with this green glow, all the while you're surrounded by corpses that were clearly inspired by the Heaven's Gate event, which makes this place even more unsettling. It's the kind of thing you'd expect from an old VHS tape someone recorded over a dozen times, not a game set in 1899. And this interesting mix of genres makes these moments feel even stranger, like the Red Dead Redemption world is constantly brushing up against the Twilight Zone. What I love is how none of it breaks immersion. These creepy moments don't feel forced or even out of place. It blends into the landscape like the abandoned houses or the forgotten swamps. It feels like stories passed down by people who lived too far from town and knew the nights got long and the dark carried things no one wanted to talk about. The night cycle does impact the game a lot. Locations that feel normal during the day become threatening after dark. You start hearing things that make you stop and listen, trying to figure out if it's environmental design or something much more sinister. You're never quite sure if there's a threat around or if it's just the atmosphere playing with you. They just drop supernatural elements into the world and let players find them. You never know if an encounter with a stranger is going to be harmless or if you're about to get jumped by people. This paranoia mirrors the actual frontier, where trust was a luxury and everyone was potentially dangerous.
I think you better open up that register. Just kill someone else in town instead. Fine, I'll open it. What a run! Help! Help! This is real bad.
What makes Red Dead 2's creepiness so great in my opinion is the commitment to mundane horror, not jump scares or monsters, just the slow realization that people do terrible things when they're isolated and desperate, that the frontier was full of violence and madness and nobody was coming to help. The game shows you families that turned on each other and communities that collapsed into brutality. People lost their humanity gradually, one choice at a time.
People don't forget. Nothing gets forgiven.
I feel like the game also understands that isolation is inherently unsettling. You can ride for long stretches without seeing another soul, just you, your horse and the landscape. The longer you're alone, the more aware you become of how vulnerable you are. One wrong encounter and you're dead with nobody to help. There's something about the way Rockstar built this world that feels like no matter how much you explore, there are still secrets buried in the game and locations you haven't found.